Welcome to the Wisconsin State High School Curling Championships from the field facility in Wausau, one of the best in the country. The host is the Wausau Country Club. Jim Wendland is the director. He's the coach at Wausau West for the boys. And with Adriana Fisher, I'm George Hirsch, and we're set for N3 of this matchup. We're doing 4 games today, 4 tomorrow. This is game number 3 in a round-robin situation. So each team in their bracket of 4, they play 3 games, and then they move on. So right now, Wausau West 2, and they were able, they'd have to qualify to get in this tournament. So they can be a first team, a second team at a particular school, and they were able to qualify. They are leading Portage 1, the Portage team, 7-0 after 2 ends. So we're going to pick things up here with end number 3. And Adriana, how do you come back from 7-0?
I mean, Portage has really got to get their guards started. You know, you got to get your guards in the right place, and you have to get your weight down. I think that was something that we saw in the first 2 ends, is Portage weight was just a little heavier than West. They have a better control, and I think that's really going to be the outcome of this game.
Okay, so this is West with the red rocks or stones. Portage yellow. And number 3, possible 8. Possibly not, given the score. We'll see.
I think that was a good idea for West's first shot, putting it in the house. That gets him a point right away and takes away from anyone being able to hide behind it.
Yeah, it's been in some ways a long day curling, but you know, when you look at the excitement and we're up here and all of a sudden you hear a cheer and it's like, okay, where did that come from? Which team?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have, how many? You got 16 teams playing out there.
16 teams, yeah.
Never know which team's cheering.
Yeah. 16 teams.
They're not all from different schools, though. We've got a few that have doubled up in teams.
Right. And the 1 and 2, like Wausau West has 2. Yeah, 16. Well, this is the second now attempt for the West team. The West team is Gideon Matthias, who's a freshman, as the lead. Carson Vanderwall, a junior, second. Reese Poggle, a sophomore, vice skip, or third. And Ethan Sillers is their skip. He's a junior. Now we pick up the other team, Portage 1. Clayton Gasner is the lead. Charlie Murphy second. Jack Hebner, vice skipper, third. And Ethan McCumber is their skip. They have 3 juniors and a senior. That may explain it a little bit. For Portage, they're very young. So is the 2 part for Wausau West, too, the second team.
Both teams are pretty young here, so.
Yeah, they are.
It's a nice drawdown, too.
And also, let's say if you're a team 2, do they get to play in most competition?
It depends, you know, like for TG and state, they often do play in it. It also just depends on how many other teams have brought in other teams, because sometimes people bring 2 teams, sometimes people only have 1, and it also depends on, there's a few teams out there from Appleton and Eau Claire that sometimes come one year, but they don't come the next year. So it really depends on how many open spots, but you got to fill all 16 somehow.
Right. Yeah, this is a big event. It's not WIAA sanctioned. I know they're talking about it. And since it's not, then it's up to the curling association for the state really to handle whatever they need to do. And it's been here since this place opened for a good reason.
Yeah.
You know, it's the best in the area by far. Now we're back to Poinette in the yellow. First shot for Charlie Murphy. Yeah, it's the games start. It's quiet.
It is.
We're upstairs,
Yeah.
and we're looking at a monitor. That's all we have to look at. It's going on behind us. But you get back into the extra 7 or 8 end, and sometimes you can hear a lot of chatter, clopping, and yelling, and whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot more discussion too, I think, between parents and coaches and what strategy they think their players should be calling. It's a different game once you get further in.
Well, and the coaches have to stay behind the glass. They have the one timeout that they can call between ends, and then you have the other one, whenever. But that's the boys or girls have one. So.
Yeah, 2 timeouts for the entire game. So it's not a strategic thing to play with your timeouts, but it is a little bit of strategy if you don't want to use it too soon in case you need it late.
Yeah, maybe Portage could have used one. Really.
They could have probably.
Yeah, see, now when I looked at this and I looked away at my pad, things happen.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
Now it's
curling is a game where you take your eye off for a second and things are much different.
Well, that happened that time because the first when I was looking at Portage had some points there, potential counts, and now it's 1 for West.
Not quite sure what the call here was. Looks a little light though.
This is the second one for Charlie Murphy.
They got a nice guard on their yellows. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they wanted there, but.
Okay.
I do like the call here as a guard for West, just because you're up 7 and you're sitting 1, so taking this 1 right now is a good idea. Guarantee yourself something.
Yeah, you can see the folks in the bleachers, and it's full now.
It is. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of family members, I think, that came later in the day just due to traveling, and you got a lot of friends that I think come later on the day because it is a Friday, so most people still at school, but now school's out for the day, so there's a lot of friends, I think, too.
Yeah, tomorrow will be interesting because you go into the semis and then the finals.
Yeah, semis and the finals, those seats are packed full. Yeah. Everyone's there to watch, see who wins.
We're going to do all 4 tomorrow, too, so for Wausau Area Access Media. Then I'm going to take a break and not talk to anybody for a couple of days.
Sounds.
That'll be the day. Yeah, no, it's okay. We're happy to provide this for our viewers. Wausau Area Access Media. Streamlined and live.
I think Portage called the takeout here.
Well, they've got plenty of weight. Maybe a little too much if they don't hit the target. Well, yeah, look at that.
That was a nice shot.
Very nice, very nice. Now they've got 1 sitting there.
Not sure if they can get that other red out to sit more than sit the other 2. Make sure they sit 3, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're back to West 2.
They're definitely discussing a lot of this little things that could potentially happen.
And little options or possibilities.
Yeah, I think they're also worried about possibly hitting their own red out that they have in there, or hitting off a guard.
7-0. I mean, can be intimidating for a team, and I think the next 3 ends will determine a lot because they have to come back within distance, reasonable distance, otherwise.
Yeah, Portage has got to start sitting at least 2 of these ends. Being down by 7 in the 3rd end it's hard to come back from.
They have the hammer. They've had the hammer. The last 2, I don't know about the first, because that's not determined by a prior one.
Well, it did just barely get over. I'm not sure what they were planning to do there. I'm not sure if that's, I think they might have wanted that more in the house, but it's a little short.
You know, what's interesting to me right now is there's more in the 4 in this game with in 3 ends than I saw in the first game that we did.
Yeah.
Remember?
The first game that we did, there was almost, I think, maybe one that touched the red the entire time, and this time we're surrounding it.
Yeah. Well, they didn't set up guards, obviously, right away. So
yeah.
That's part of it, too, is the strategy that they use.
Yeah.
This is the last shot here for Jack Hubner. Might be pronounced Hebner, I'm guessing.
Might be.
Yeah, Hebner.
Well, Portage is sitting 2 now, so.
Well, look at that, yeah. Well, a nice target, though.
I do like the sit here for West, rather than trying to take it out. Just a little risky because they can still come down and take it out. And Portage has hammer here, so.
Yeah. So for West now, this is the first toss for Ethan Sillers, the skip. Reese Poggle, the sophomore vice skip, did his thing. So N3 is winding down.
Looks like they're discussing of which way they want to go, if they want to do the in turn or the out turn for the draw. Looks like they're trying to figure out which guards they can get past and still sit right in between those 2 rocks.
Well, usually they take more time toward the end, and here, because of their situation,
yeah,
they want to just
so far ahead you might as well
put
take
them
a
away.
little bit of time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal then. I mean,
the line does seem to be a little close, so maybe they're only going. Maybe they are going for a take here.
all right, we'll find out. Well, he's got his routine now.
Yeah.
Okay. First shot for Ethan McCumber. Skip for Portage.
It does look a little fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looks like it curled a little too much for West here.
Okay. Well, still a few rocks left.
I think Portage is going to put up a guard here. I like that decision for them. I think they need to score the 2 that they have sitting close to the button, and I think this is the best decision.
Yeah, this high school state tournament started out, the boys in 1959, and Wausau Senior High was the winner. The girls started out in the 70s. And I had it somewhere. The first team to, I think the first 3 years Wausau was the winner in that one.
I know Wausau, I think, was the first winner of the boys.
Yeah, it was. In 59. And the girls was 76 and Medford was the winner. Of course, that's a curling town.
That is.
Yeah, the last time the West boys have won 2 of the last 4 times. Point won last year in the boys.
Portage came up with a really nice guard there to take away.
Yeah, they're going to hopefully get something for them. In the girls' competition, Poinette won last year for the last 2 years.
Correct.
But among the girls, it's the last 5 years have been Portage or Partyville or Poinette. So it's those three towns in that curling circle, they call it down there. I'm looking for the last time West girls won it a couple times, but goes back a ways before, recently it's been more of those three. All right. Down to the last rock. The Wausau West.
West looks like they're drawing here. They're trying to sit one here. Got to really outcount Portage here if they want to score. Looks like it's coming up a bit light for West.
Yeah, that was Ethan Siller's last rock. Now, for Portage, it's back up to Ethan McCumber.
He has a chance to sit three here for his team. That would be really nice for them.
Yeah, that would make it more interesting for everybody. A 7-zip score after 2 ends is not something to really cheer about.
No, not at all.
There you can see the scoreboard. We got 8 sheets here, which is max, I think, in anything around this country.
Yeah. I've only ever heard of like one other club in Minnesota having 8 sheets, so it's not very common.
That tells you the support of curling in this community. Well, you walk under the tiles when you come in here and you see all the names of donation, and I mean they're from other curling clubs like Eau Claire, and it really garnered a lot of support. And let's see what we can do here for this last rock. Yeah, maybe.
Looks like it might just sit really. It's gonna sit really nice for Portage.
So they got 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That changes the game a lot here.
It does. Now we've got a game. All right. So after 3 ends now, it is Wausau West 2, 7, and Portage 3. So East scored, if we can see the board, I don't remember how they scored the first 7.
West scored 3 in the first end and 4 in the second end.
Okay. So these two teams, if you look at the rosters and, Wausau 2 for one thing, they haven't had the experience. So I think in a lot of games of that nature, they probably don't have as many takeouts or raises, or, it's a little more simplified in the sense of what they're able to do well.
What they're able to do well, and I think it also changes strategy because they're not as advanced in understanding of strategy, and they also, the shots that you can call for certain teammates is a little bit different based off of certain people's strengths.
Right.
I think that changes the game a lot too.
But it can be a lot of fun, enjoyable, and a good experience no matter what your level.
Oh yeah.
That's the cool part of curling too. It's a lifetime sport.
It is. People play from the age of 3 to the age of 83.
Yeah.
It's a sport you could play for a long time. That's why a lot of people play it. This rock looks a little fast. Oh, it's slowing down. The ice has been a little wonky today. There's been a lot of curl and sometimes not a lot of curl. Really depends on which path you're going down.
Okay, well, they get it in the concentric circle. 12. Whatever. Second release for Portage. Wausau West now, despite the fact they're up 7-3, they have the hammer. Because the only thing counts is the prior end when it comes to that.
They just barely hit that guard in the front. slowed momentum down a little bit for that rock. Looks like Ethan is for West is going to try and split the house here. I like that idea.
Seems like
they're sweeping, and I'm not sure if they're sweeping just for line or if they're sweeping for weight right now. Looks like just line. Looks just a little heavy.
Yep, a bit heavy. Beyond the line and out of play. There's your scoreboard. A little unusual.
Yeah, very much so. You have West scoring in the first end on the white little thing that they hang up, and that means they scored 3. And then in the second end they scored 4, and then Portage came back and scored 3 in the third end. It's a lot different, you know, because nobody scores in the same end. It's always one or the other. No one can score the same or can score. So
you can't lose.
You can't lose.
You can just win.
Yeah.
Can't lose points. Can't have taken away from you.
Nope.
All right. Pretty open yet.
Yeah, you got a few guards up there, but there's not a lot in the house right now.
Second toss for Vanderwall, Carson Vanderwall.
Looks like they might be discussing time or something in the hack.
Okay. There is no time limit on these curlers. I know they do have them in some of the big time tournaments. They have a clock right there where you can watch it, like in the Olympics.
Yeah, most times in the Olympics, when it's 10 ends, you have about 36 minutes, and 8 ends, you have about 30 minutes. Here we have like around 2 to 2.5 hours to finish an entire game. More commonly, they prefer you to get it done in about 2 minutes or 2 hours.
Yeah. Just
to keep the games moving.
Well, I heard Jim Wendland, who's the coach at West, who's in charge of this event, and boy, has that family had a year, huh?
Oh yeah, they've.
Oh my gosh.
Their son and their daughter have been all over.
We're talking what? East Korea or somewhere like that?
South Korea, yeah.
South
She was
Korea?
in South Korea. And their son was in Finland, and he's back in Finland right now, competing junior worlds. So, yeah, I believe Jim and Ella are actually and Jim's wife, they're leaving on Sunday to go watch.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. No, he mentioned he had a year.
Yeah.
And he deserves it. I mean, he's put so much into it. Like so many right here at the curling club, it's volunteer. I mean, he's a volunteer.
Yeah.
No, I heard him talking to the parents and kids and students and athletes after the first game about how he appreciated the fact that they moved along. Because if you're in charge of something, you don't want to be delaying starts.
Well, no, and because we have state championship tomorrow at a certain time, you don't want that going super late because everybody else has got to get home and travel.
Exactly.
I mean, for a few of our teams, we're pretty close to home, but some of these teams are traveling 1.5 hours, 2 hours to get here, and that's no fun if you got to drive back late at night.
Right. Yeah, you look at the teams. You know, the boys, the girls are different because there's some that have a boys team and not a girls, and vice versa. With the boys, 16 teams, 32 overall. Wausau West, Marshfield, Poinet, Stevens Point, Wapaka, DC Everest, Portage, Wausau East, Medford, Partyville, Lodi, Appleton East.
Yeah, there's teams from all over.
Yeah.
This one looks a little bit fast. It's going to sit pretty well, though, I think. Might sit in the back yellow, but that's still... Well...
Yeah, they split.
Yeah, they split, so... West is definitely sitting 1 right now. Could be a questionable 2.
Here we are. This is something every game that I bring up. Some teams have big time uniforms and matching things, and others are just whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that's their choice. There's no dress code.
Nope. Here there's no dress code. Some places, some competitions, you do have a dress code.
Mm-hmm.
For high school, I know for a lot of teams, it's usually just wear the same colors of your school or wear that apparel.
Sure.
Well, it looks like West is going to be sitting 2. They might be sitting 3. Not quite sure what those the yellow and red in the 12-foot are looking like.
Well, it's getting down to the last toss for the vice skips. So for Portage, this is Hebner, Jack Hebner. One of the 3 sophomores.
Yeah, Portage has really got to get things to change, and they got to make sure that they don't let West sit here.
Well, that didn't help. Well, hold on a minute. It did.
It did help.
You got
so
one. Yeah.
I think West might only be sitting 1 now. I think that yellow might be outcounting that other red. So
I believe so. It's hard on that up on top camera because of that angle that they use.
Yeah.
From where we sit, and all we have is a monitor to look at. It can be deceiving.
Yeah.
It really can be.
Very.
Well, we got the last one now for Reese Poggle.
Looks like the team is discussing what weight they're gonna throw. That's a really big thing with the game, is the different types of weights you can call with, especially with takeouts.
We decided to do both sides. Still one.
Still red.
One count. Yeah, this end seems to be going by quickly. They're not taking a lot of time. Just talking it over and let's go.
Yeah. You know, I think right now Portage is trying to really figure out if they want to draw here, or if they should try to attack. You know. But I think they're just going to come up with a draw. I think they're also discussing what their other options are in case the draw is light or heavy.
Yeah, you know, Adriana, when you look at this, there are so many factors in one toss, in one, stone.
Oh yeah, it really is. One stone can change the entire game. Well, like they always say, it's a game of inches and millimeters, because sometimes rocks are just a millimeter difference away, and sometimes line, when you put your broom down, if you would have given an inch more, an inch less, it could have changed.
We haven't seen the measurement device yet today.
No.
That I know. Of course, there are 8 sheets going here, so we've already had 16 different possibilities.
True. Looks like Portage came up a little short there. West does have a chance for a hit and roll here for possibly 3. And West does have hammer, so.
Yeah, I'm sure that's got to be a little interesting. You're down 7-3, and yet they have the hammer.
Yeah. Not a good place to be sitting for Portage right now.
No. Not at all. For people that don't know the scoring and you look at that board, it's probably very puzzling, but
Yeah, the white numbers represent what end you scored in, and the blue row in the middle that shows you how many points everyone scored. So if you're underneath the 3, that means you scored 3, and then you add from there. So if you scored 4, then you would be at 7, which is what Wausau West is at right now.
First rock for West for Ethan Sillers.
Looks like the weight is pretty nice. Let's just see if they can get any roll. No roll. Still a very nice shot.
That's a good
West is sitting 3 right now.
And they have the hammer. Wow.
And they have a hammer, so could potentially be sitting 4 after this end. That would be a real change for Portage again.
Is there a reason they only go up to 15?
I don't believe there's a reason. I think it's just a number they chose.
Okay.
I've seen some clubs go only to 12. I've seen some go to 16. I think it also depends on, because I know those pieces I believe are wood, so it also probably depends on how much wood you have.
Sure.
Well, Portage got it out. However, West could draw in for 3. So.
Yeah, I think there are 2 now. Just looking at it.
Well, potentially West could sit 4 if they take out that yellow in the back, because they got that red on the side. I think that would be the best decision for West.
Well, that's what they're going to do.
It puts them up a lot, and if they miss it, well, then they sit 2, potentially only 1 if they crash on their reds, but they could only sit 2, and I don't think that's a bad decision either. Any of these shots right now is good. They could sit 4, 2, or 1. Any of them I think will work well for them.
Well, this is the last shot of N3.
I'm not sure if they're discussing whether or not they should draw or not. I still like the takeout on the back with how far ahead they are. I think even if you risk and you do end up crashing on one of your reds in the house, you'll still wind up sitting 1, and I don't think that's a problem at all. There's no real risk. You can't exactly give Portage any points here, so I think it's just whether or not you want 4 or you're willing to just take 2 or 3 depending on the draw.
Okay, here we go. Ethan Sillers, he's a junior. Skip of the Wausau 2 team. Wausau West 2 team. I think they have 3 teams. West. I'm not sure.
Well,
Thought I heard that. Maybe not.
Yeah, they do. They do have a 3rd boys team. However, there was enough other teams that they didn't get one in.
Yeah. Through the elimination process. Yeah. Right down the middle. So what does that mean? I don't know.
Looks like he came a little narrow. And maybe
it might hurt him a little bit here. No.
No, they'll sit 2, which I think is still pretty good for them.
Oh yeah. So after N3, N4, it's 9-3. I think.
It is. It is 9-3.
After 4 ends. We're halfway through.
Yeah. West is sitting good here. I think West has got to play a really clean game here, no guards. Put some in the house and make Portage start chasing.
I'm going to be an optimist, Adriana, and I'm going to put 8 down for ends.
Yeah?
Because I'm keeping score,
Hey, I think it could happen. Portage scored 3 in the 3rd end,
Yeah.
They can score 3 again.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see. Here we go, and number 5.
When Portage has hammer, they should have hammer again this time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they do. Again, you can see the folks in the bleachers. Named after the Schaefer family, dedicated to the Schaefer family. 90 years of volunteer service to the curling club in Wausau, which used to be at Marathon Park before this was built. And 3 generations of Schaefers. One of the young men that helped me with what you're doing last year was a Schaefer. Was one of the, you know. Yep. That looks interesting. All right.
looks like West had a guard put up. Not sure that's exactly what they would have wanted right now. I think West should be playing a pretty clean game with no guards. Just with how much you're up, you don't want Portage to be able to hide behind anything.
Yeah.
That was a nice guard by Portage.
Okay.
Looks like West is going to draw behind.
Second shot for Gideon Matthias.
It looks a little heavy right now, but I think we might get lucky and it might sit in the back. Might sit back 12.
Now if he can help it. Nope, it is. It has to be at least a sliver in the 12 to be a 12. But it's there, so it could count.
They jumped on the sweep right away. It must be a little bit lighter. Does look quite slow.
And this is Charlie Murphy, their second. Adriana, if you look at each position, I know I've talked and asked questions about, you know, the role of the lead, the role of the vice skip, the role of the skip. How about number 2? What are the skills of the number 2?
You know, this for number 2, for second, really, a lot of it comes down to peel weight. You know, you got your guards up front, and you got to be able to take those out. You also, I mean, takeouts are really a big thing for seconds, and also just draws. It's very much a take and draw time because you put up your guards with your lead, and now you got to use your guards. But if they put one in and it's open, you also got to be willing to take it out. You know, right here, that was a good shot to call for your second to draw in. He was just a little bit heavy.
Yeah, but it's there.
But it's there, so I think that's all that matters.
Okay, now we're back to Portage.
Their first shot.
Well, they're working. Better be in shape. I imagine it takes a while when you start curling to get back into that kind of shape.
Oh, it does.
For sweepers.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a long season, but the off season is quite long too. And especially during those summer months, you know, it takes a while.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people that skip, you don't usually sweep a lot. You only sweep in the house. So it's a big change if you ever change positions from skip to anywhere else if you started as skip.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be.
Yeah. It's a big change.
So as a skip, which you are, you have to compliment them for the work they do?
I do compliment them for their work, you know. A lot of sometimes mistakes happen too, and you gotta say you work with it. And everything happens, but
they're a big part of it.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I think if you, as a skip, you really got to encourage your team, because in order to make sure that you get the shot you want to have in the end, they got to execute their shots. So, really making sure your team is happy with you and you're happy with them. It's a good dynamic.
Yeah, and that's a good part of curling, I think.
Yeah.
The coach is behind the glass, and they're making the decisions as a team.
Yeah.
And certainly, there are different personalities that want to force them like that, and different temperaments and everything else. But somehow you got to make it work.
Yeah. It was a little heavy, but they got backing in the back, so they might be able to sit. They're sitting one right now, so I'll be interested to see if West comes down and takes this out or if they just go and sit on it. If it were me, I would just go sit down right on it.
Communication continues in different ways.
Yeah, they seem to really be communicating their third, second, and skip a lot about what they think they should do.
This is the first for their third for West, Reese Poggle.
West is hesitating on sweeping. They're thinking about it. Looks like the weight might be nice. Oh, looks like they might be just going for a simple raise. Well, now they're sitting one and it's hiding behind a guard, so it's going to make it a little bit harder for Portage to get to that.
Every time you look at that circle, it looks different.
It does. There's very rarely a time when nothing changes, and if it is, it usually means that a rock just went through or wound up just as a guard. This looks a little fast, but I think it'll sit really nice. These rocks seem to have been dying kind of close to the end.
I'll take it.
Really nice shot by Portage.
Very nice. And there's a good example you talked about in the millimeter, whatever. Look at how close it was to hitting that opponent's rock.
Well, there's a lot of times that's what it comes down to. You gotta barely sneak past those guards in order to make sure you get behind them. Really depends on how much your ice is curling. If the ice isn't curling a lot, you're gonna have to skinny a guard a lot to really get behind there. Versus if it's curling a lot, you usually can be a little bit wider and you'll have enough room to curl behind the guards.
That's a good point. We can get into the physical part, I mean, what do you call it, scientific end of that or whatever, because there's a lot involved.
Yeah, it's a lot of physics. You know, it's just like...
That's what I meant, physics. I was looking for the term.
Yeah, it's a lot different, just like when you take a rock out with certain weight and the drag effect, and it's very different. Like if two rocks are frozen together, the one in front isn't going to go, but the one behind is. And different ways to hit off. This game is about angles and really trying to figure out how and where you need to hit the rock in order to make sure you don't take one of yours out or you sit. Looks like they're discussing where they want this rock to end up.
This is the second shot now for East Poggle.
It's taken them a while to decide what they want to do here and what weight they want to call. Which I think is very interesting with West being up by so much.
Yeah. That's going to do something.
Well, they moved the guard out of the way that takes away hiding that yellow, so I like the idea of putting that guard up in the house for Portage. Try and maybe see if they can sit a little bit more 8-foot than the other red, and maybe they could sit 2 here. If it comes up short, I don't think that's a bad thing either. Portage is just really got to make sure they keep that 1 yellow.
And this is Jack Heepner. The second shot. What is the right terminology for letting the rock go? Is that release?
We usually call it the release. And
release?
There's
okay.
Most people have a different type of release too. Some people give it an ad, some people just let go of it. You know, everyone kind of has a different one. There's just kind of depends on how you can properly release it, as well as make sure that it stays on line. You know, a lot of times when you release, people flick it wide or flick it narrow, just with how they release with their hand, and that can cause some issues.
Whatever they're comfortable with and works.
Yeah.
Well, we've got an interesting circle.
Yeah, we've got a lot more in the house this time than we usually do.
Potential for scoring either way.
Yeah.
And we're down to the skips. Ethan Sillers.
Not sure exactly what the call is for West with the line they put down. Might be coming with a heavy draw to see if they can try and tap out Portage's yellow in the house, or if they could possibly clear that front 1 so they can still have an opportunity to get to the back yellow.
Yeah, he's got 2 rocks coming yet, so.
Yeah. Unfortunately, West doesn't have hammer here though, so they've got to be pretty strategic in how they're going to play this if they want to sit.
Good concentration.
Yeah, that's another big thing about this sport. You got to be concentrated the entire time, especially when you're throwing. It's a big change. Looks like he might have just been a little wide.
Yeah.
Weight would have been really nice to get rid of that yellow.
Yeah,
but
it had the weight. It just didn't.
Just a little wide.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the first rock for Ethan McCumber.
Looks like Ethan's probably going to draw here, maybe top 8. If it comes short and it's a guard, that's not bad either. It takes away the possibility of West trying to take out that yellow sitting in the house like the shot they just tried. Weight looks pretty good here. I think it'll sit pretty nice.
I think it's going to be very good.
That was a really nice shot by Ethan.
Yeah, it was.
It's a really hard opportunity, you know, for West. They really got to sit right on that button in order to sit anything here, even get the chance to sit.
Well, they got Portage has a shot at 2 now. But again, West could take it away. They have a shot to do that.
Does look like the skip and the vice of West are trying to figure out if they want to try and take one of those yellows out or if they just want to draw in. I think it's a hard decision to make here, just because if you do the draw and you're not touching one of those yellows, it's still a straight take for Portage. But if you try the take and you don't sit or you miss it, then you're giving them 3. So
now you've got the vice skip, the 3, and the skip, the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the vice skip, the 3 is, involved, but isn't the one that's actually making the shot going to have the last say?
Yes. So as a skip, you have the last say for all 8 rocks that are thrown.
Right.
However, a lot of times sometimes your vice skip sees something different, or they think, oh, well, this might be this, or they see something different that might just change the game, or it might be a better shot to call. But it does ultimately come down to the skip in the end. So,
Yeah.
but it is useful as a skip, from speaking from experience, to have a vice skip and be able to have someone to talk to, just to toss ideas around in case it's something critical like now.
Well, you can see what they're trying to do. We'll see what happens.
Came a little narrow, and Portage is sitting 3 right now.
They got 3. And they have one more rock.
Not sure if Portage is going to be able to sit 4 here, just based off of where West's last rock came, but there's a chance.
Well, we get games that end up single digit. This one's going, up pretty good number.
Yeah, Portage here, really what they got to make sure is that they just sit the 3 they have. They got to make sure that they don't risk and accidentally not sit 3.
Yeah. Well, 3 gets them back again, to 9-6, and with 3 ends to go, 3 is doable.
Yeah, 3 more to go to tie with 3 extra ends.
Sure.
More ends, that's really nice. Looks like the skip for Portage is really trying to look at the rocks to make sure that they're sitting 3 for sure. Looks like he might try to play a hit and roll here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now, because that's where they are.
Yeah.
And their discussion is that rock.
I do like the shot. I think it does. It's not very risky at all.
Right. Yeah, because you want to make sure you don't go in.
Yeah. As long as you don't push West in, I think it's a good idea.
Well, we'll see, because I think that's what's going to happen here now. Steady. I'll see now. He curled it.
He
at
did.
The release.
He does give a little bit of an ad. He is very known for his little ad at the end of all of his shots.
And I noticed it, so there you go.
That was a nice shot. I'm not sure if it's gonna out.
I don't know.
I'm not sure if it's gonna outcount that other red though.
I don't think it is.
I think it's only gonna be 3 for Portage, but I think 3 for Portage is better than nothing. So.
Oh yeah. That puts them back in it.
Yeah. Portage made a really good comeback here.
Yep. 9-6 now. It's doable. Going to end 6. All right. Yeah, for curling, that's an interesting score. 9-6.
Yeah. It's a very high-scoring game, which is usually not very often, especially only being 5 ends into the game.
Yeah. Well, you can see the view here now. You're seeing other sheets busy. They're all busy right now, I would suspect. We'll know something is over when we hear something in behind us.
Yeah.
In most cases. Especially tomorrow, when we get to the semis and finals. But this is round robin, so.
Yeah, these are crucial games for every single team.
Yep.
So it's based off of record and how you do in the record and who you beat.
Okay, we're underway in 6.
Really nice center guard by Portage.
Wausau West has the hammer. Giving up 3 in the 5th, but still leading by 3.
Yes.
They're going to walk that one now. They're going to try and pick it up.
Looks like it's slowing down a little bit. It's going to be a pretty nice guard, though. Looks like it over curled a little bit, but I think they might have been going for a draw. Just came up a little short for a draw, though.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah. Portage is calling the draw here, which I like. They gotta keep putting points on the board.
And the only way you can do that is put them in the circle.
Yes. Portage is really sweeping hard here, trying to make sure that it gets it touching. I think they might just barely get a biter.
Okay. Well, we wait for the next release. How about describing how this game is scored?
Well, so the game is scored in a way of whoever's closest. So you have the center and then you have the 4-foot. So center is the button, most often called. Then the 4-foot, 8-foot, and the 12-foot. So whoever has the most rocks closest to the button without being outcounted by another team sits the most. So if someone has 4 rocks in the house and someone has 5 rocks, that doesn't mean that one team gets 4 and one team gets 5. It means whoever has most rocks that are touching or closest to the button and not outcounted by the other team is going to sit more.
Okay, nice job on that one.
So right now it would be 1 West and nothing for Portage because Portage is outcounted by West 1.
Yeah, the number in there doesn't have a much, well, it has something to do with it, obviously, but closeness is it. That's it.
Yeah. Which is often misunderstood because a lot of people often just think it's however many you have in there, but only one team can score points every end, so can't have, so that just doesn't work out.
And what is it called if nobody scores?
Well, that would be called a blank end, which
Blank.
does not often happen in high
I haven't
school
seen
curling.
one yet.
There was one during the girls' game earlier, but
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh,
but not in the one that was broadcast. I know that.
okay.
That was a really nice draw by Portage, really hidden.
Yeah, that's a good place to be.
Right now, it really seems like it's the chase to the button between West and Portage.
All right. Sometime when they release, they follow behind, and sometimes they stay back, like this girl did. Stayed back and said, okay. They can do whichever. They stay out of the...
Sometimes it's a little risky to follow your rock just in case you accidentally slip and fall. You could hit your rock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you can often see line and help your skip or the vice skip who's in there call line if you're still making sure that you're behind the rock you just threw. It ultimately does come up to whoever is in the house to call line, but often the thrower does help in case they can see something a little bit different.
Okay, we're with Portage now, and this is the last rock for Murphy, Charlie Murphy. And we got a busy circle again.
Yeah.
And only 1 point.
Yeah.
1 count, that's it.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens here for West, because West looks like they were trying to hit on that red and try to slam it back into the yellow, but it just looks like those 2 reds might be frozen, so I'll be very interested to see what happens here. Weight doesn't look super up like big takeout weight, but it definitely has more weight than some. Oh, they got that yellow out of there, and I think that West might be sitting 3.
Yeah, it's very close again.
West might be sitting 3. Portage has got to throw some big weight and see if they could possibly get a double here.
And you know, they're in a situation down by 3. They've got time. They've got this, you know, this is their 6th end out of 8, but you know, they don't want to give up more than 1 here if they can possibly avoid anything beyond that.
Yeah. West is definitely trying. Both teams right now really can't be giving up points. With West, they don't want to be giving up points because that would mean that Portage is closer to scoring more and taking the lead, and West.
Now I think they have 3.
West, I do believe, has 3 now.
Yeah.
I think West should guard here. Really got to make sure that you keep those 3 in there. Otherwise, if Portage comes down and takes any of those out, you're not. I mean, they've got a chance to come into the button and sit.
Okay, this is the first one for
the third?
Third
for West, yeah.
Yeah, third.
Looks like they're sweeping. Looks like it's going to be a really nice guard for West. Yeah, that's a really nice guard for West. That takes away all the takeouts on that other side. They still have this chance to hit this other rock of West's out, but those other 2 are closer to the button, so let's see what happens.
They didn't waste any time getting theirs off. Jack Heapner. Second rock.
This is going to overcross a little bit too much.
Whoop.
That curled a lot more than they expected, and West still has that one open, but they're going to set up a guard, which I think is a really good idea. West is sitting 3 right now, and with this guard, they'd guarantee 3 without. With Portage not having hammer either, they're sitting in a bad position.
Well, they'll be happy with 1 steal, but if they can get 3.
That would change the game again. With Portage could potentially be down by 6.
Yeah.
If West sits 3 here.
Right. This has been that kind of game. West got off to such a good start, 7-0 after 2, but Portage isn't giving up.
No. It's been a very high-scoring game the entire game. It's been 3 or more points every single end.
Yeah.
Which is very rare in the sport. Looks a little bit heavier than they probably would have wanted, and it's over curling. However, I think it's going to turn out pretty nice.
Well, let's put it this way, it didn't hurt him.
No, did not hurt him at all. The red one is still a little open on the side, however, it's not as open as it used to be. I think Portage is in a little bit of a predicament of what they're going to try and do here.
Okay, so we've got the skips involved now.
Looks like Portage is going to call a timeout here, trying to figure out what they want to do.
Okay. There's your bleachers. All the different colors, some of them tied in with the school colors, but not a lot of them.
Well, there's a lot of people here today.
Tomorrow there'll be more.
Yeah. Those stands are full, though, with family, friends, players, teammates. There's a lot of people. You know, there's a lot of kids here, too, because a lot of teams bring fifths to the Bonspiel in case there's an injury or someone gets really sick. So oftentimes you see a lot more people and players off the ice, which is really interesting.
Well, you've got teams here with 5 because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, East has some. Somebody else has 5. Poinette has 5. Partyville, yeah, they have that alternate just in case.
Yeah, which is often used in case someone gets injured or someone gets sick, but very rarely does it ever happen. But
yeah.
I don't know the exact rules on having a 5th, or if you have a 5th, if then they play, then the other person can't come back, or they can come back. I'm not exactly sure how it all works out, but
it's a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice. And
this is Adriana Fisher, a student at
Wausau East
High School.
Yes.
She's proud of it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm George Hirsch, and we hope you're enjoying our broadcast of the Wisconsin State Curling Championships from the Curling Club in Wausau. And this is game 2 for both teams. They're guaranteed
3 games.
Yeah. Okay, with a round robin.
Yes.
4 in a bracket.
Well, with that shot, I think West might only be sitting 2 now, which
Yeah.
is better for Portage, but still not the best thing that they want.
No. See, this bracket here that we're looking at, Portage and Wausau West, they're with Stevens Point 2 and Marshfield. And it's a total draw.
Yeah.
These are the qualified teams. This is what we pick out on a draw. And this is what it is.
Yeah.
So you cannot set up divisions or the better teams or whatever. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, there is a little discussion between a few coaches and all that come together a few weeks before state that talk about the teams and just see like where to place some things, but there's never really a total just one seed plays everything like that.
Yeah.
There is a little talk about who should be in the top 4 and all that, just so that you don't have all top 4 teams or the best teams in the state in the same bracket,
Yeah.
and all the worst, or not worse, but 14, 15, 16, the 13 seed, like those all playing in the same bracket, because
Yeah.
you gotta spread everyone out.
Yeah, it's not like a basketball or a football where you seed one against the last number,
Yeah.
2, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like a playoff setup.
Yeah.
It's just a draw.
Yeah. It's a lot different. And that has something to do with the fact that it's not WIA.
Now, if I'm right, it's under the control of the State Curling Association?
I'm not positive, but
Okay.
that does sound correct.
I think I've been told that. And that they're the governing body of the high school competition kind of thing.
Not sure if Portage right now is trying to draw in, or if they're gonna see if they could possibly do a raise take here. Either way, they really just gotta make sure that they get something of West out of there. With West sitting 2
And the hammer.
and having the hammer, they really gotta make sure they get something of West out of there.
Okay, here we go. Last shots, 2 skips. West up 9-6 if they can get a couple. Portage will be in deep trouble.
Yeah, it's late in the game right now. We're really gotta. This is the time where they gotta make their shots. These are crucial.
And no matter what they do, West has a counter because they have the hammer.
Yeah.
So that's why he's pretty heavy.
Yeah. Really nice shot by Ethan.
Wow.
That changes a lot.
No kidding.
Well,
No.
Portage is sitting 1 now.
No, they're sitting 1. They accomplished a lot with just basically tossing it down and hoping for some action.
Looks like, yeah.
It paid off. It really did.
Looks like West might have just called a timeout. Looks like they're kind of trying to figure out what they want to do.
Well, you know, West had what, 2 counts?
Yeah,
So it would have been 11-6, 5 difference.
yeah.
If they don't counter what Portage just did, Portage gets 1, and it's 9-7, and it's anybody's game.
Yeah,
What a difference that made, that shot.
yeah. That changed the whole idea of what's going to happen here.
Yeah, they were in a timeout.
Yeah, I think West was trying to figure out if there's a way that they could sit 2 here, because going up by 5 going into the 7th end, that's hard for Portage to come back from. I mean, you've got to get 6 to win, 5 to tie. That's sitting 3 each end, and one end you're not going to have hammer in. Most likely the 8th end you won't have hammer, so that would be a game changer if West could sit 2 here.
And that's Jim.
That is Jim, yes.
Yeah, he's in charge of this whole operation here.
He's in charge of it all, and he's got 4 teams playing in it as well. So
2 boys, 2 girls. Yeah.
From this line that West has put down, I'm assuming they're probably just going to draw for 1. Potentially they might be trying to do the take on the yellow in the back so that they could sit 2, but I'm not quite sure.
Well, they've got the hammer coming up. We'll see what they can do. It's a big shot because it could change going in either direction, whether this is real competition or, Okay.
Looks like he might have just fell into his teammate and pushed him down, so we'll see if his teammate can get back up and play.
Oh, boy.
Hey, at least they're having fun. That's all that matters.
Well, and somebody watching this will know that, I think.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. So there'll be laughs.
They'll be reminded.
Oh, but
they're young. They can handle it. Okay, last shot. Wausau West. End 6. 2 to go, maybe.
Very focused. Good release.
Yeah.
West has really just got to focus on weight here to make sure that they can get it there. If it's not there, they're giving up 1 to Portage.
They may not get there.
It's coming a little light, and I think it crashed.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
1 for Portage. This is a game.
Yeah, makes a different game out of this.
This is some good competition right now. Portage is making a good comeback.
Yeah. 9-7. Portage has won the last 2 ends by 3 and by 1. Coming back from 9-3 to 9-7 now.
Yeah. Well, and they were down 7-0 one time, so.
Yeah, after the first 2 ends. Yeah. I think part of that, Adriana, is the inexperience factor.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a lot of experience from both sides, so it's a pretty even match, but I do think there might be a little bit more experience on Portage side. Just.
Well, they're the number 1 team, in their school. But yeah, I have to give Portage some credit.
Oh yeah, for sure. They've
down 7-0 after 2 ends, and what you had to look at and where you were going, and they, by the 7th end now, they're in it.
They sure are.
In it.
However, they don't have hammer right now, so and they need to score in this end. So if they score in this end, they won't have hammer in the 8th end either. So it'll be a close game.
Well, this is the lead for Portage. Clayton Gassner. They've got 3 sophomores and a junior on their team, and this is their number 1 team. Wausau West has 2 juniors, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, a sophomore, and a freshman on their West 2 team.
I'll be interested to see if West plays a clean game here or if they play a game with some guards. Based on their score, they could go either way. It just really depends on how they expect Portage to play. Portage is definitely going to have to set up a guard or two, though. Looks like they're bringing it in the house right away, trying to see if Portage will chase the rock.
Gideon Matthias put his first one in there.
Oh, this is really good T-line weight. I think Portage is calling a draw behind the guard they just put up, so I think that's a good idea.
Clayton's second rock. Think about it, Adriana. Now, this is one game. How many rocks have seen going down the ice?
I've seen a lot of rocks go down the ice.
I mean, this game is like, it's set up so that that's most of the time is that planning and the rock going down the ice.
Well, and that's the whole thing is, I mean, depending on how many rocks go down the ice and what paths they go down, it changes your entire game too, because some paths are going to be faster, so you got to change the weight you throw and make sure you're not throwing as heavy. Some teams really struggle with that too, is adjusting the weight. It's a big thing.
Yeah, I saw that in the first game I did.
Yeah.
Right in the very beginning. One team had trouble until about their fourth end figuring that weight business out.
Yeah. Really nice shot by West.
Yeah.
They're sitting 2 right now. Portage is chasing now, trying to make sure that they can sit something here.
Yeah, the way this one started out 7-zip after 2 ends, I thought, let's have some competition. Well, it is competitive.
Yeah.
It turned out to be competitive.
Portage has made a really good comeback.
Yeah, they have. There you go. Nice takeout. Very nice. Okay.
If I was West, I'd probably take out that yellow, see if I could get a little roll behind from the guard that's further up. You can't see it on the guard that's on the screen, but it's there.
Okay.
But I would try to do a little take and roll behind. It's going to be really hard to get to.
Carson Vanderwall, West's second.
Weight's definitely up here. Definitely going for a take of some sort. Let's see if they can get possible roll behind or not. No roll behind, but they did get both of them out, so.
Yeah, that was a nice shot. Yeah. Those are kind of all or nothing shots, aren't they? You take off.
Oh yeah, those are for everything. If you miss, I mean it's really depends too, because sometimes if you got shots or rocks in the back of the house, I mean you really got to be careful where you hit or how you hit them, because you don't want to jam in the back. That.
Well, we're playing a heavyweight takeout game here. But that one, see what I mean?
Yeah.
Just by about 3 inches.
Well, yeah, that one came wide, and now it's really hard for Portage here, because now they're chasing with 2 down. With West having 2 in the house, they're chasing to try and make sure that they can sit something. But West has been really on top of their game and making sure their rocks have stayed in the top of the house.
Okay, we're back to second release for Carson Vanderwall.
I think they were calling this top 12, and weight looks nice. Looks like it might need a little bit at the end, though. Just want to make sure that it actually gets there. For West, they got to just make sure that it's touching. If they could even sit on their red, that wouldn't be terrible.
They are.
Yeah, that was a really nice shot.
Yeah.
There's a chance, though, that if Portage comes with enough weight here, they could get both of those out. with the way that they're set up. They're not right on top of each other. They're a little off center, so they might be able to get one, maybe two out here.
Well, they're playing the weight game right now because of the situation they're in. Jack Hebner, first release.
Well, he got one out, so
yeah,
that's
got one. Yeah.
That's better than not getting anything right now. You know, and both those Reds I think are still open in the house, so I think it's possible that Portage could still take them out as long as West doesn't guard them up.
The way this end is going, it's going to come down to the hammer.
Oh yeah, it really is.
There aren't any guards out there, and you know they're just playing takeout.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how this game plays out. You know, it's close enough where either team I think could take the win here.
This is Reese Poggle for the Warriors, Team 2.
Looks like they're watching Wade a lot, trying to see. Looks like it might be a guard just on that one red that they're sitting. I really like that call.
There it is.
That's a really nice call. Really nice shot too.
Yeah.
Almost lined up perfectly. Yeah. It's gonna be a big change for how Portage plays their last three rocks of this end.
Set. They're moving along. Second shot for Portage. Hebner. Well, it's heavy enough to reach whatever it wants to reach.
Definitely going to be a little bit too heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
You know, they're still sitting in the back. However, West is still sitting too.
That's just sitting back there. It really isn't...
it's not really doing a lot.
Not a factor.
The only thing it's really got going is the possible sit for West on that, or maybe Portage could come and sit on their own, but they're still not going to outcount the other two they've got. So, really not what Portage wanted there.
Miss Poggle second. You're just watching, clicked it in. That's the right score, 9-7. In 7.
Looks like a West player fell. Doesn't look like they hit the stone though.
No, I don't think so. They would have reacted if he had.
Yeah.
They would have reacted. Okay.
Not quite sure. I believe Portage right now is just going for a draw, which I think is a smart decision.
Well, they need to salvage something, so they've got to be.
They got to put something in
a
the
situation,
house. They got to put something in the house that's gonna be closer to the button than West is.
Well, we're getting down to the end.
Really smooth release there.
Got the skips involved, so.
Looks like they're sweeping for weight right now. Looks a little down. They really got to make sure that it's here, at least 4.
Well, it's going to go.
Oh, it's going to be there. Might have not needed to sweep that as much as they did, but.
Well, it's their point.
It's still 1.
Yeah, it's still a point. It's in the 4. Well, they must have liked it because they got the fist bump.
Yeah. You know, if I was West here, I think I would just go and try to draw down 2 that yellow. Wouldn't try to take it out, just because it's behind the tee line, and then they can take it out as well. And
Well, he's got 2 shots left.
he does have 2 shots left.
Yeah.
I think they're calling a draw. I like that call here. If you're a little heavy and you tap it back a few inches, that won't be a terrible. They just gotta make sure that they get it there.
Okay, they're getting set up. Pretty quiet in here.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of chatter around or behind us at all.
Really hasn't.
But you know, I mean, I guess these games are crucial, but you know, it's really the third game that's going to come down to tomorrow that's really going to be a big game changer, because
Right.
if you win or lose, and depending on what your record is from today, that could really depend if you go on to semis or not. If you're sitting 1-1 and you lose, you're out tomorrow. So those are going to be the changers. Really nice way to get around. That was a really nice shot by West.
Well, you described what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And he did it.
West is sitting 2 now. This is really up to Portage to make sure that they can get behind those guards and sit. If they don't sit here, this is going to be hard for them if West sits 2.
Yeah, you have 8 rocks left. You need 4 to tie. Yeah, that would be a challenge.
That's half your rocks being in, and
Right.
you got to make sure that you have guards too, because West would play a pretty clean game in that last end.
Yeah.
They're up by 4, so yeah, Portage really got to make sure they can get this guard, this draw.
This is pretty much it. Right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
This can't be light, or it can't over curl whatsoever.
Well, they're handling the curl okay.
Yeah. It's curling really nice. They just got to make sure that it's there. Looks like the weight is really nice. Might want to slow down on. Oh, it's going to be really nice.
Oh. Boy, that was a nice shot.
Yeah, really nice shot by Portage. That.
Nice. He's got to be happy with that.
Yeah. The only real shot I can see for West here, in order to make sure that they can try and sit something here, or even more than one, is, I mean, to sit only, if they only want to take 1 here, they just got to draw down to it and just move it back a little bit. I mean, if they came with like backline or hack weight even at the yellow and they were able to cross over it, they might be able to push it back where they could sit 3. I'll be really interested to see if he wants to call a hit or if he wants to just draw.
Well, this there's a big difference between being up 9-8 and 12-7 or 11-7.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's all on this shot.
Yeah, you know, it's if you're up 12-7, I mean, that's almost. I'm just not quite sure how you can come back from that as Portage.
Probably handshaking time.
Yeah.
This is N7, and typically, competition is 8, but sometimes in curling you get so far behind. Other sports have a shot clock.
Yeah.
Curling has a handshake.
Yeah.
And it's up to the team behind to make that decision.
Yeah. Until you get to the 8th end and whatever team doesn't win, then I mean that's just the outcome. But before the 8th end of the 8th end, it really is just. Weight looks really nice here. Let's see if they can get it over in order to sit 2 or 3 here.
I think it's going
looks like he's a little wide and
not work, and they're going to get 1.
Portage is going to take 1.
Wow, we got a game.
Yeah. Portage went down from being 7-0 to
9-8.
9-8.
Wow.
It's been a very high-scoring game here.
Give them credit.
Oh, yeah.
Give them credit. 9-8 going to the end 8. You know, believe it or not, we could even have a tie.
True enough, we could.
Oh, wow. Well, they're stealing now.
They are. They've stole for a while.
Yeah, they're stealing. They were down 9-3 after 4. 9-3.
And they've scored every end.
So every end since, they scored 3, they scored 1, and they scored 1. And every one of those, they stole.
They did.
So, I mean, wow. Uh-huh.
West has really got to make sure that their hammer efficiency is working better this end, because having that last shot is a huge advantage, and if you can't use it the right way, you're risking the entire game right now.
Yeah, this could change. I mean, it's like if you were a member of Portage team right now, Portage 1 against Wausau West 2 is what we have here. Just coming back has to make them feel a little better about that whole setup.
Oh yeah, I mean, no matter how this game ends, if West or Portage won, Portage should be proud of what they did. I mean,
Absolutely.
with how far down they were and how much they've come back, it's changed this game completely. You know, I think it's really made West change their strategy, and I also think that West was starting to get a little bit nervous more as the fact that Portage was actually starting to
Exactly.
put points on the board.
Yeah. Well, that last end they had 2 in there.
Yeah.
And to put the pressure on Portage. Plus they had the hammer.
Yeah.
Didn't work. So yeah, there's your score.
Yeah, with West just ahead by 1.
9-8. Yeah, there it is. Interesting. Well, here we go. End 8. I didn't think after 3 ends or it was 9-3 that we'd see this, but or especially after 2 ends, 7-zip, that we'd come to this, but we have.
Yeah.
And that's all good. Good competition. For Portage, Clayton Gasner.
Looks like Portage is really trying to get a guard, trying to get it as close as possible to the house. Where you place your guards really does change based off of how much curl they have. Depending on when the curl happens too. A lot of the ice today has been finishing really late, so so putting a guard close to the house it's harder to get around versus if it's really far up. So placing your guards is really particular right now, especially in being in the 8th end.
This is Gideon Marcellus.
Looks like West is bringing this in. Might only get just barely a biter, but well, looks like they carried that in pretty far actually.
Yeah, that's not bad for.
It's pretty much hidden behind that yellow guard by Portage too. That's a really nice shot by Gideon.
Gideon Marthalis. Marthalis.
Portage jumped on that one right away.
Yeah.
Must be pretty light. Does look quite light. They were only hoping for a guard here though, so it's exactly what they wanted. Looks like their skip's gonna finish out the sweep.
Okay.
Looks like West is trying to put as much in the house as they can right now.
Well, by doing that, doesn't that leave them with maybe some more options down the road?
It does. It does leave them with a lot more options. You know, you just really got to make sure that where you put that draw into the house, you make sure you put it good. Because right now, having anything behind the house, that means that Portage can draw down to it, and they're out counting your red.
There's an example of what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, that one's out, so they got lucky that Portage skip Ethan was able to sweep it out, but
Yeah.
also depending on if it doesn't curl enough and get behind those guards it's sitting out there, you can always hit and roll in on those. And that can be a big game changer, especially because Portage could always hit and roll in to score. West has got to be very careful with how they place their draws this end. Looks like Portage is trying to bring this in. They think they're going to outcount West, but quite a bit from the skip.
There we
Sweep there, so looks like West might call a takeout here, try to eliminate any possibility of Portage being able to sit anything here.
Okay. Just looking at the schedule for, we have a 6:30 girls competition yet today. Tomorrow we start at 8 o'clock. A little bit different setup. But we'll start out with a boys game tomorrow. Might be east-west.
No?
Maybe.
Well, West came a little bit narrow that time, and they actually wound up hitting their own out. So Portage is sitting really nice with 2 right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can set up a guard here and really take advantage of West's mistake.
Yeah, that would be. There's no such thing as a heartbreaker at this level, I hope. But if there is such a thing, to be up 7-0 and lose,
yeah,
is going to be.
It's
it's
a hard thing to deal with, but Portage has clearly shown that they've worked hard and they've earned the competition here.
We still have a ways to go. We're about halfway through almost.
Really nice guard by Portage there. They're
nice. Yeah.
taking away almost every option of West getting to those 2 yellows in there. West is gonna have to start trying to do something. There might still be a port up front that they could get through, but it's a little risky. They might wind up crashing on a guard if they come wide or narrow.
He's gonna line it up. Okay, last shot, last release for the second. And that would be Carson Vanderwall.
The release looked a little different there. Looked like it kind of let out a little bit weird, and it kind of curled a little too much than they wanted to. But Portage is now sitting 2, and they're both really close together, so if they can put up that guard, the same one they just had, they're sitting just as well as they were before.
Now we're getting down to the thirds now. Jack Haebner. One works and one watches, depending upon what their goal is. Well, they're getting it to come in.
Well, it's a little heavy, so I think they're just trying to sweep it all the way in, but it's still behind that guard up front, so they should be okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, turn things over to Reese Poggle now.
Yeah.
For West.
I'm looking at the scoreboard back there, and it looks like they're actually tied right now.
I don't know how that would work, but Looks
like in the 6th end they scored 2 instead of 1.
Well, I didn't see that, but
I didn't either. But
I mean, well, if that's what they have on the board, Adriana, that's what I'm going to put down here.
That's even a bigger game change, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, Portage is really in this.
Well, we're not going to have a tie.
No, we're not going to have a tie.
Yeah, and that's the official score back on the board, right? I mean,
It is.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what the teams put up. So the score is 9-9 right now in the 8th end.
Wow.
So this is crucial right now, I guess, for Portage. Without having Hammer, they really got to secure these guards and make sure that they can keep their 2 in the house really safe. Looks like that guard was just a little bit heavier and it curled a little more than they would have hoped. So West does have almost an open takeout right now to hit and roll to sit possibly 1.
Yeah, they still have that opportunity here, for sure. This is the last rock for Reese Poggle.
This really hasn't seemed like it's barely starting to curl now. It's really holding on to that center line for a little bit.
Oh, well, they'll take it.
They took it out, but they didn't get as much of a roll as I think they hoped. So Portage does have the ability right now to do the shot that West was hoping for.
Right. Coming down to the skips.
Yeah. Well, and because of that guard, that red top guard up there, they have to go from the inside to the out, which is really takes off and curls a lot more than if you go from the outside of the house to closer in. So it'll be really interesting to see how they call sweep here.
And this game is a good lesson for don't give up, because it was 7-0 after 2 ends, and we're looking at a game tied in the 9th end or 8th end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
Yeah, it's a game where things can change. I mean, especially at this level. I mean,
yeah.
There's some players that stand out a little bit more than others, but everyone. I mean, it comes down to being a team. So it really is depending on how you play as a team. Well, he got the rock out. It just ended up going a little bit further than they had hoped. So.
Okay, we're back to a couple of rocks left.
Looks like West is going to just draw in. Smart decision here with everything else.
Yeah.
Don't try to attack those yellows at all. You really can't get to them. So.
Yep.
He's really making sure, the skip is making sure that his vice knows where he wants the rock.
Well, West has the hammer.
Yeah, so that's a real advantage to them right now, especially with everything that's happening. I mean, Portage is sitting 2 in the house right now, but their rocks aren't very close to the button. So West has the entire button open for them right now that they could take advantage of.
The problem West is facing, and they gave up steals on the last 3.
Yeah.
So it's a confidence factor too.
Yeah, it's a mental game right now to make sure that they really just zone in on the weight. That's a big thing right now, is making sure that you can get that rock there. They're on sweep right away. It looks like it might come up a little bit light, but it looks like they are carrying it pretty far. So this could wind up pretty good for West.
They're working hard at it.
Real question is, can they outcount both of the yellows? Well, they outcounted one of them, but that one yellow is still sitting. So
now it's 1 with 1 rock each.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if I was Portage, I like drawing on this side. You don't risk anything. You can't risk tapping any type of red, and if anything, you can always sweep it through if it comes heavy, and you're still sitting 1. So
yeah,
Portage is sitting pretty well right now. But yeah, it is coming down to these final rocks right now that really will determine who's going to win this game, and it's close.
Well, in this bracket, Marshfield and Stevens Point 2 are the other 2 out of the foursome. West 1, West East, Medford and Portage 2 are one bracket. Poynette, Everest, Wausau East 2, Appleton East are another. And the fourth bracket, Stevens Point, Waupaca, Partyville, and Lodi. And here we go with the last rock for Portage.
They're really not touching this rock. It makes me believe that it might be a little heavy. I think they're trying to directional sweep it in, but it's going to come a little heavy, which
Yeah, it is.
isn't going to affect Portage at all.
No, it just leaves it up to West now to do what they have to do, period. That's it. There it is. Win or lose.
Yeah, win or lose, they got to make sure that they can get this touch in red.
They're winding down this one. Still quiet behind us. I'm a little surprised, but we're going to hear a cheer pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere. Somebody.
Oh, yeah, after this shot, I'm sure there'll be a lot of cheering because this has been a game where Portage really came back, and now it's close.
Yeah.
It really is a nail biter for West right now because if you don't make this shot, you're giving up the game.
Well, I think the experience factor is a role here in this somehow. Maybe Portage just played better competition. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Well, it is the Portage 1 team versus the West 2 team, but still West has put up a good fight against Portage. But
oh, yeah.
Portage has made it clear that they can make a comeback, so
Yeah.
let's see if West can put this one in.
Yeah, Portage has a 1 and 2, so this is their varsity, basically.
They're not touching the rock, so maybe it's a little heavy, but looks like it could wind up pretty nice here. They got to make sure it gets there, though.
Yeah, I think they've got a chance.
Really nice shot by Ethan.
There it is. There's your
yeah,
crowd.
There's your crowd.
Well, Wausau West held them off.
Yeah, Wausau West did. I mean, it came down to the last shot, though, so it was a really good game.
7-zip after 2 ends. Portage came back to tie after 7, and West held on finally at the end to beat Portage by a score of 10-9, which is a little unusual.
Yeah, very high-scoring game.
But West Boys 2 defeated Portage 10-9. For Adriana Fisher, I'm George Hirsch. Hope you enjoyed our broadcast of high school curling from the curling rink in Wausau. Thank you, Andrea, for a nice job. Hope we'll get together again tomorrow.
Yes, I'll see you tomorrow.
And good luck with your curling coming up in just an hour or so. Until next time, take care. Okay, thank you. All right. Well, good luck. I'm going to probably, try and watch your first ends or something.